Now, we're learning from Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who moments ago demanded Iran take full responsibility for its actions after dozens of Canadians were killed in that crash.
I had a chance to sit with some of the families of the victims. They are hurt, angry, and grieving. They want answers. They want justice. What Iran has admitted to is very serious. Shooting down a civilian aircraft is horrific. Iran must take full responsibility.
CNN's Paula Newton is in Toronto. So, Paula, what else did Trudeau have to say? What are Canadians as a whole thinking and feeling?
Yeah, Fred, that issue here is what that responsibility is going to look like, right? And from Iranian Canadians here on the ground, as they said early on, if Iran lied about this for 3 days, what now? And it is the Canadians who are trying to press on that question in terms of trying to get to that responsibility, to that investigation. They want some access, especially with the kind of expertise that they're looking at from both American and Canadian and authorities from all over the world to realize how it happened, how the chain of command, even in Iran, could let this happen so that it does not happen again. I think what's extraordinary here is the level of anger from understanding that Iranian authorities could have at least said, let us investigate this, but instead they chose the denials. And it's that kind of distrust that now will infect the rest of the investigation going forward, and it does remain a problem. I want you to listen to Justin Trudeau again.
Are you confident that this was actually an accident?
This is one of the issues that we certainly need better answers to, and that's why this first step of admission of responsibility is an important one by Iran, but there are many other questions like that one that we'll need clear answers to in the coming days and weeks.
So again, how is that going to happen? Well, Canadian investigators, they've now been allowed 3 more visas, but the investigators themselves, it remains to be seen exactly how quickly Iran will expedite this. I have to stress again, though, how rare a call would be between Justin Trudeau and President Rouhani. They don't have diplomatic relations, and that's at least a first step, even just a phone call, Fred, of understanding that perhaps the Iranians are at least committed to helping those relatives get the remains of their loved ones, have a respectful burial either in Iran or repatriate those remains here to Canada. And, you know, Fred, it's been extraordinary here. This is a country shattered. They've had memorials like the one here in Toronto behind me, right across the country, even in this, pouring rain. People are going in front of the memorial and really shedding tears there. The loss is still so profound, Fred, and all eyes now are on Iran to see what they can do to actually heed the lessons from this incident and understand that in order to do that, they will have to do something that perhaps doesn't come naturally to them, and that's open up this investigation to international partners.
Paula Newton, thank you so much. All right, let's talk further on all of this. I want to bring in now Texas Congressman Vicente Gonzalez. He is a Democratic member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Good to see you, Congressman. So Iran's military first denied that it was a missile that brought down that plane. Now an admission that that's indeed how it all happened. Do you have any concerns about ever really getting the full picture, even following an admission?
We certainly need to get to the bottom of it. It's tragic. It's appalling. It's horrific. My heart and prayers goes out to the family of the loved ones who've been lost in this very negligent military act on behalf of Iran. And I think they need to comply with international investigators and allow us in to investigate and see exactly what happened and assure that Iran takes full responsibility to all the family members and people who tragically lost their lives in this accident.
And do you find yourself kind of split, on how to deal with Iran? Because I know initially you did express some concern about the strike, the drone strike, U.S. drone strike against Soleimani. And you were worried about, the intelligence that supported this imminent threat. And then, of course, now, just days after that strike, Iran takes down a commercial jet. What does this do? What does this mean? How does it lay the groundwork for the U.S.? Any leverage that the U.S. may have had with dealing with Iran moving forward, whether it's about, threats or whether it's culpability?
Well, clearly we could begin with the premise that General Soleimani was no angel, right? And maybe he did need to be taken out, but we needed to have a clear strategy. We still need to have a clear strategy on how we're going to continue to deal with that conflict that is still ongoing, in my opinion, with Iran, and assure that a situation like what just happened with this Ukrainian airliner never happens again, and get to the bottom of it to assure that whether it was intentional or really just a military accident of Iran. That's something that, I think many Americans and people around the world have some serious reservations with. And I think that
what happened with that commercial jet and Iran's admission in any way change your view about how the U.S. approached the killing of the Iranian general? They're very different circumstances, but it does involve the same country.
Right. There are. I don't know if they thought maybe that was a military jet and they mistaken it for an attack and took preemptive action, or if it was just an intentional shot they took at a passenger jet. We should get to the bottom of that and find out. And I think the international community deserves to know, and certainly the people who lost their lives, and the Canadians and other countries around the world want to know what actually happened. And I think the Iranians are responsible to give us clear answers.